stepped on the brakes, and while I was driving, the floor pan went down, and I went with it. It's pretty cool.
Still jamming out to the music.
Just Google offensive T-shirts. There you go.
I was a skinny little punk kid that wasn't having too much luck with the ladies. You know, so.
I need to drink now, you guys. Oh
We had grown up watching Luis Santiago. How can we not? How can we not want to be on TV? What the hell are you talking about?
I'm still jamming out to the music.
I am not going to ask about the hat.
We're already in the dumpster. We're what, 4 minutes in?
I think it was a 93 Toyota Corolla. Back when that was my first car when I was 14 years old. I didn't even have a license.
Really?
No lie, maybe 6 months later, I had the whole suspension, motor.
What's your worst TV experience doing Garage Car?
Do you want me to just come back next week and do another podcast? We ain't got time.
The Puerto Rican guy with a 68 Charger, come on.
I'm just saying. Awesome.
If you've never heard of LaGrange, ZZ Top did a song about LaGrange. So,
That's the reason why I know it.
That's right.
I'm not going to worry about it. I know it's in Texas.
So,
When you pull into town, the sign says they got a lot of nice girls.
Still jamming out to the music. Hey everybody, it's Lou Santiago, and did you know that everything is bigger in Texas? That's right, everything. You name it, it's bigger. It's just the way it is. My screen is flashing. I might have an epileptic seizure the way this thing is going. But anyway, tonight we've got Shawn Jones. Now, Shawn is a car guy. He's like an organizer, a promoter. He's the guy that's going to make cool stuff happen. And that is what we have tonight. So we're going to sit down. We're going to talk to him about what it takes to bring all these people together, especially in the big state of Texas, because that's a lot of cars. That's a lot of stuff going on. And then you try to bring people from outside of Texas in and let them know about the Texas way. It's not just about barbecue. So we're going to go on a quick break, and then me and John are going to talk, and then we're bringing on Shawn. Hit it, Ken. Ever wonder what happened to your favorite Hollywood stars? Some are screen legends. Some made history.
What do you say? Is it the new Bluesmobile or what?
One thing's for sure, they all have more to tell. Road trip with me, Lou Santiago, as I hunt down these iconic cars.
The car's actually stolen. My kids said, Dad, you're not going to believe what's over here.
And take you behind the scenes to get the story behind the story.
I'm going to have the car do the same thing. Oh, bang, wow.
From the designers who built them, the stars that drove them, and the lucky motherfuckers who stumbled across them. Where was his car when you found it? Pull in there. Dude, tell me you have your hands on it. You're not gonna believe some of this stuff. John!
Yo, I turned my
Dude,
sound way up.
When I start talking, my screen starts flashing. It's crazy.
Oh boy, hope you don't buzz out. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking it might be the camera's finally dying. Like when it's just me, like right now it's not doing it, but when it's just me, it starts flashing like I'm gonna have an epileptic seizure. It's so crazy.
Yeah, your hands look a little funny too when you wave.
Yeah, there's something going on. I think it's the camera. I'm gonna have to buy a new one. No big deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what's the deal with Paul Tuttle Jr.? What's the deal?
Paul Tuttle, we were going back and forth. He opened up his new shop when he was on last year.
Right.
He was talking about opening up a place in Jersey. Grand opening was last week. There you go. And I told him that we would mention and give him a shout out. So just as a favor, because when he was on, we told him to follow up and let us know. I actually wanted to go, but 22nd, I couldn't make it. 27th was the wife's birthday. So it was just jammed up.
So
but yeah, he's about an hour and a half or 2 hours from me.
I was just going to say, so if he's that far from you, when I come up, we could just go down there and bother him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 2 hours east, right on the coast from what it looks like.
Right.
So
right.
But yeah, but the first thing we want to talk about is we got 2 new sponsors, one being MagnaFlow.
I know.
They're sponsoring both the podcast and
AMSOIL.
Yeah, and AMSOIL. And they're both the podcast and the Sticky Green Love Machine build.
What?
I just got the product from AMSOIL yesterday. There's 2 big boxes. Invoice said 75 pounds. And Nick said that everything we need as far as fluids are in the boxes, from antifreeze, brake fluid, oil, gear oil, the whole everything.
Damn it,
So
man.
that's pretty cool. So
That is
go
cool.
to syntheticadvantage.com and check out Nick. Hit him up, and he'll hook you up.
That'll work, man. Outstanding. Bravo.
I know.
Bravo.
Oh, you know who else I saw when I was checking out Shawn, our guest's website? He has gasoline oil whiskey.
I read that. I actually looked at it.
Yeah, before you came on, you mean you glanced at the notes? You glanced at the notes. Yeah, but it's right up our alley. I hit him up. I was going to tell Shawn. I hit him up. Said, "Yo, send some up here up north." I don't know if it's legal because he's out of Texas. I think he's out of Austin. So,
we just go to Texas.
yeah, well, you know,
We go
I
to
hit him up.
Texas
Told
and we
him.
bring it back. Well,
I told him ship some up. Send a case.
Yeah, I don't see what the problem is.
This is knob tonight, so
Gnob.
It could easily be. And here's the five
You got a
quart.
bigger cup now, I see.
Mm.
So what's going on with the Love Machine?
Love Machine. I got a bunch of messages. I sent you the post. I don't know if you saw it. Guy on Garage Insider wants to see video of the build. I was telling Tori, I'm actually surprised how many people this thing hits a nerve with, and they're digging the build.
Yeah.
But to let people know that aren't up on it, we're building a replica, the exact same everything, except a 6.2, debating on whether to put an LSA supercharger on it. Moser 9-inch Ford rear, 4L80E. That's the 6.2. That's before I tore the Impala apart, of course. That's how I got it, with the nitro stand and all the shit on it, started stripping it down. But so far, I got the body ironed out. That's me doing the polyester. You can see I got the thing pretty straight. Those lines are pretty straight. The guide code helps out a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
The problem I had, and I told you, that's the blue door. Of course, I'm not drilling those holes out. I'm faking that in. And then actually the blue mellowed down a little bit and the silver actually came up. And yes, I'm putting the handle back on because I'm not sticking my fingers through that hole. But remember, I was telling you I was having problems with that strip up top.
Yep.
That's what they have on it in the movie.
Okay.
Is that milled looking turned?
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's all tape, just like the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but the problem I had, I was telling you, is I shot the primer in the back of it. The whole door's back, right there. I went back to try to touch up the deck lid, and it lifted on me. So I got to strip the deck lid down, start over. I'm figuring it'll probably take me about 4 hours, get it back in primer, maybe 5.
I wonder why it lifted. I mean, I don't know. That's crazy. Did you not? I mean, was there something on the trunk deck that made it lift? You think?
No, what's weird is I sanded the left side. I was trying to make it look weathered because you see in that picture, it looks like it's freshly done, and in a movie, the thing looks like. I mean, I could wash it a few times with Dawn dish detergent to weather it down.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, let me see what happens if I hit 600. One side with 600, I hit the other side with a fine Scotch Brite to see if it's just enough to give it the ran through 100 car washes look. I didn't like it, so I went to spray it, touch it up, and it wasn't cured out enough because the side I hit with the 600 and broke the surface, that's the part that lifted the most.
Oh.
But they're the new floors. The passenger side's welded in, the back is welded in, the driver's side is screwed in place and ready to go. I'm gonna weld that tomorrow.
Cool.
So
good deal.
Yeah. When you coming up? You still on track for a Friday, or what are you doing?
Is it this Friday or next Friday?
This Friday.
This Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. I'm glad you said something because I put it in for next Friday. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, Eric is on his way. He actually chimed in a second ago, but Eric is somewhere in Maryland.
Oh, cool.
He's coming up to help tackle it. And just to let you know, he's driving from New Mexico cross country to lend a hand to make it happen. I was talking to him today and told him that, if the deadline comes true, January Barrett-Jackson, to run that through, across the auction block, we're going to have to do some humping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he says he's rolling up his sleeves, whatever we got to do, make it work.
Cute.
So
we'll get it done. We'll get it done. I mean, it's gonna be fun. That's all there's to it.
Well, we're going to shoot, just to let people know, Lou's coming up here to Pennsylvania. We're going to shoot some of the promos for some of the new sponsors, and we're going to shoot some other video, a little bit on the car, and we're going to shoot some of the streaming service 0 to 60 promo stuff on Saturday, this coming Saturday. It's supposed to be really nice, like 72 and sunny.
Yeah, I was talking
We're lucky.
to somebody earlier, and they said I was talking to Jim Landry. He's a fellow CB. He's up in Massachusetts, and he said it was like 70 today up there.
Yeah, it was nice.
So it must be the whole, the Northeast is having a nice run of it before you guys get hammered with snow or something. So
you could feel the temperature change as soon as the sun sets. At 6:15, 6:30, it starts to drop pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not freezing out, but you can feel it. It does make a difference. But this whole next week, we're high 60s, mid 70s. So we're lucky.
Cool.
Get it done. And I'm trying to get, some of the primer and paint work done in the engine compartment before it gets too cold.
Yeah.
I can shoot inside, but I got to cover everything, get ventilation, the whole.
Yeah.
Or take it somewhere and put it in a booth. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. If you don't have to, yeah. Well, I mean, is there a booth up there you could use if you had to?
I could call in a favor. Yeah.
Got it.
I got a buddy who works at a car dealership. He's up off the beaten path as far as the body shop. I'd have to give him a couple bucks, tell him keep it fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it would help, especially with the smaller panels. But I want to be able to open up the hood and it wow you.
Yeah.
So under the hood has to be detailed. The rest of the car is going to look rough. That's why I was trying to weather.
Right.
The primer to make it so it doesn't look like we just rolled out of the paint booth. It has to look like it's been beat up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I was saying to you the other day, that I may have gotten the car too straight. It's pretty much ready for paint with those body lines. So I may have to put a couple waves in it. You know what I mean? I did get used SS moldings for it.
Well, you gotta have
I put new ones. I put new ones on. It's going to look oddball. You need things that have been banged up and weathered.
Yeah. Yeah.
It should be pretty
put new
bad.
ones on it. You can't.
I know I can't. I found them on eBay. A lady gave me a good deal on it.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, really, it's all that matters. So, well, look, man, we got it. We've been talking long enough. We got to bring in Shawn, get this ball rolling.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
And there's Shawn.
Bang.
Hey guys.
Dropped them right in.
What's up, man?
Hey, John. I got to show you a real bottle of whiskey.
Okay. What do you got? Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Yeah,
I like that. It looks like it's got the gas pump globe.
That looks expensive, man. I hit Ron up and told him, send me something. If you talk to Ron, tell him, listen, take care of these guys.
We will. Definitely.
He said, he talked about coming up and being on the show. I was like, no problem. We'll figure something out. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, there's no sense, Knob's not helping me out any, but yeah, look how cool that is.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it that it's got a Ford on the cover, like a 32 grill, straight axle. It's even a drilled straight axle. Ah, damn.
Shawn, how's it taste? Have you sipped it or are you saving it?
I had no. I've actually had a little bit. It's
good
for whiskey. Yeah. I got a funny story about my buddy Ron. He called me up. This was a few years ago, and I was actually working on a fundraiser for a high school project graduation. Okay,
right. Yeah.
Which is all supposed to be alcohol free, drug free, and all that.
Yeah.
Right.
He calls me up and he's talking about, well, I'm seeing all these different car shows you got going on. Tell me about Rockin' Rides. He said, I think we might want to sponsor that. And I was like, Ron, I don't think that's going to be the show for you.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. It's like sponsoring a church event,
Probably let's look at another one, but that's probably not going to be the show you want to sponsor. That.
Yeah. So did he pass on it, or how'd it work out?
Oh yeah, I told him I don't think that would be the one. He passed on it, but yeah, he's been a big supporter of mine and supported a bunch of other events. The recent event was the Corvette Invasion. He was there and proudly supporting that, one of our main sponsors. And yeah, Ron's a good guy.
Yeah,
cool.
Shawn, before we go too far, take 20 seconds and explain to people what you do, what your thing is.
Yeah, well, I'm basically a car enthusiast. I started up a little Facebook group about 11 years ago. This my buddy Jason White and I started this group together on Facebook, and it just kept snowballing. Now we're over 11,000 members. At about the same time I created this group on Facebook, I was an activities director for a local Corvette club here in town, here in Austin area. And I like creating events for the club. And I found my passion doing that. And I think it's just awesome to create an event and have all these car people come out and, pat you on the back and tell you how good of a time they've had. It's just, that's what's rewarding about it.
So do you do shows just for the Corvette events?
Or do you do for all cars? Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I started with the Corvette stuff, and then I branched out and started doing other events. So
right. So what's your biggest show?
Well, I'd probably still say the Corvette Invasion is our largest. This last year, we had registered Corvettes. We had around 375 Corvettes registered, but we probably had 500 or 600 in town that weekend from 12 different states and 2 countries. We had a gentleman come from Mexico, even. So, yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
So next year will be our 10th year to do this for the Corvette.
It takes a lot of work to put on an event like that. That's nothing that's turnkey. I don't think people understand how much work behind the scenes before the show.
Right.
Volunteers, organizing, setting things up. Ken and I do work for the Philadelphia Auto Show. Those guys, group of people, all they do is that one show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole entire organization. It's not a one-man band. And I know you're not a one-man band. You got support around you and you got people that you turn to. But yeah, that's all they do. And there was a guy that people know, I think it's Terry Cook, that did the 50 show out of New Jersey. And he did that for years. I don't know if it still goes on or not, but that was one of those things where one show per year, because it takes so much to make that happen.
Yeah.
Big event, it's a lot of work.
It is. What you have a lot of times in these car clubs, and whether it's a Corvette club, Mustang club, whatever, and you'll have an activities director or you'll have a committee they'll have a car show once a year. And that committee, that's their job, is to put this thing together. And usually after 1 or 2, they're done. It's like, I don't want to do this again. So you constantly have a turnover there. But I love it. This is all I focus on now. My background's been advertising and sales and things like that. So that's really what it is. It's you're getting out there, you're advertising, and you're selling the event. So and when you're passionate about it as much as I am about cars, it's an easy sell. It doesn't even seem like work, really.
Now, you've done work with charities too along the way to help out and give back. Talk about some of the charities in which you're involved in and what you do there.
Yeah, several different charities. Make-A-Wish Foundation, Heroes Not Out, which is a resource center here in Austin, resource center for veterans and first responders. As I mentioned earlier, Project Graduation. The list goes on and on. One of the events I do monthly, it's called Pistons at the Park. It's the first Sunday of each month. we probably bring in 300 to 500 cars monthly, and I'll have there it is. There's a good shot.
Wow.
That was a few months back, and we'll have, a few vendors out there. As a promoter, that's how I'm generating revenue for my time, is through the sale of vendors. But I have each month a different nonprofit that we give them, chance to come and set up and educate people about their nonprofit and take donations and things like that. And they come out and do quite well. Most of these nonprofits aren't really car people. They don't.
Right.
They're not into that car community, but they come out and they see it for themselves and like, wow, this is great. And so after that event is over, a lot of times they'll reach out to me and say, hey, I think we want to do another car show maybe in the future. Could you help us with that? So
that's cool. Well, and you're right. A lot of those organizations, they just don't have car people. So they know you're trying to help them, but when they see that turnout when they see all the cars, that's when they realize, okay, this is bigger than they thought. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I know exactly what you're talking about, because I was at a show and it was about 1,000 cars, and the not the promoter, but the we'll call him the client.
Mm-hmm.
They were blown away. They couldn't believe how much they got. They were thinking like a couple $100. I think the promoter gave them like 15 grand. Like, this is yours. Here you go.
Yeah.
And it was impressive. And these people, they really got their bang for the buck, put it that way. Yeah. So it was cool.
When I can bring a group of people like that together and we can do something good for the community, I mean, it's all worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's good too that people skip over? I mean, the older guys, the guys that watch this show, is kids nowadays don't have bicycles, don't get out of the house. Everything's cell phone, everything's internet. It's a shame we do this, in 3 different rooms, but it is what it is. But nowadays, when you can put a bunch of people together and there's no bullshit, no politics, no nothing, they have a common bond. Realistically, you need more of that, so it does work out. But what I was telling Lou earlier is, which is sort of odd. So I know that the car game in Texas is strong because you got Iron Resurrection, you had Fast and Loud, you got Texas Metal. Yeah. Jesse James is now out of Austin. You're based out of Austin, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of talent there, and all those guys are really turning it up. Especially Jesse James. I mean, that guy's mad crazy.
Joe and Amanda, Shag, Pampa, all those guys came out in 2019. They actually did a reveal. They were working on a 1963 Corvette split window for a client, and the client said, hey, I want to pick this up at the Corvette Invasion, which was pretty cool. So that's what they did. They got this car ready, and then they brought it to the Corvette Invasion and did the reveal right there at our show, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was for the TV show, the red one?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget, the guy was a CEO of something that wanted that build, I think.
Yeah, he was actually a pastor of a church.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Pastor. He was a pastor of a church. He had many, as we call, sweet rides, but that 63 was the one that he wanted to have them, do. And like I said, I thought it was really cool that he wanted to have it done there, or have it revealed there at my show. So that was good.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. It's real cool.
Shawn, you got a vet yourself. Now, do you got anything else?
I do. No, that's all I have. I have I've got my, as I call my grocery getters. But as far as sports cars go, I have a 2016 Z51 3LT. So
there you go.
It's what my wife refers to as stickers. I put the decals on it and made it look like the official pace car for the Corvette Invasion, which gets a lot of attention. A lot of people, there it is. But a lot of people will stop and ask me, and I was like, hey, what is this Corvette Invasion stuff? So it gives me an opportunity to throw them a card and say, hey, mark your calendar for next year and come on out. They'll enjoy it.
Formula One. Yeah, go ahead, Lou.
I got a story, Shawn, a vet story.
Sure.
So I got like this 03 in the yard, and it's a parts car. And this gentleman I know, Mr. Dixon, came over. Come to find out, Mr. Dixon had one, same color, same year, everything, except it was a convertible. And he wanted the one I had. I was like, you can't buy this car, Mr. Dixon. He's like, why not? I said, because it's a parts car. I said, but because I like you, when I cut it up, I'll call you.
Right.
You haven't even cut it up yet, have you? It's still sitting there.
It's still sitting there. I'm letting it ferment in the yard.
Yeah. Have a tree grow up through the middle of it. Lou's one of them guys cutting the grass around his cars, weed whacking, telling her it's okay, it's okay. Where are you putting the next one, Lou? Next to this one.
You guys notice the very iconic vehicle there in the back.
Yes, we are in the Wienermobile.
You must know that guy.
Big old weenie every year. Yes.
You must
love it.
Because it pops up everywhere.
I know. There's
that
like
guy? You got to know that. Look.
There it is.
I saw it in the videos, too.
I bet you that thing handles like a dream.
How many of them are there, and what's the base? What's the body of that?
Gosh, the body, I don't know, but it's got a Chevy engine. I know that. So there are actually 4 of those in the country that run around. There's each group of interns. That's what they are. They go out for a year at a time. So every year I've been having these guys come out for probably the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm always dealing with a new, group of interns. But at the end of the event, it never fails. They come to us and say, that was the most fun they've had all year long, and they're going all over the country. They're doing all kinds of things, seeing, you name it, they see it. And then they come out for this and they're like, yeah, this was by far the best fun we had.
Yeah, that goes back to our childhood. That thing was on TV and a big deal back in the day. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's got to be an early 70s something underneath there, late 60s. There's a factory off of 95 in Philadelphia, and one of those cars were sitting beside it off of 95 for years.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm wondering what happened to it, but it just looked like nobody drove it, nobody did anything.
I know a few years ago I used to see one every now and then running up and down I-85. Like 10, it was probably like 10 years ago. I don't know where it was going, but sometimes you see it going south, sometimes you see it going north. I guess it was whoever was running it. They must have been somewhere in the area, I guess. But yeah, I want one.
That's the next build. After the stinky green, we're gonna make one. We're gonna build the hot dog
Wienermobile
with nitrous. Flames.
It's on a crew cab. It looks like a crew cab dually chassis. That's a 1-ton chassis under that thing. You look at the front wheels and it's got dual wheels in the back. It's a crew cab.
That means they got some weight to it. They had to offset the thing somehow. So it's heavier than you think. I guess there's people that can sit in the back of those windows.
How many people does that thing hold, Shawn? Do you know?
Actually, I think they put they've got 2 interns that are up the front, but every year we'll give rides out to some folks. There's so six people total.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's like a bus.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's very
Shawn,
cool.
Formula One. Talk to us about what you did for those guys.
Yeah. So last 4 years, I didn't do it this year, but the last 4 years I've helped organize the parade ceremony right before F1 starts. So all the drivers, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, all those guys, they'll get to ride along in either a Corvette, a classic car. This year they did a classic pickup truck. Last year they actually I arranged for a big old semi truck trailer to put them on because of COVID. They wanted to parade them around on something really cool. So my buddies over at CC Carlton have a really cool truck. Had the Texas Star and State Capitol and everything on this. It was a nice wrap that they had done. And we put the drivers on that and took them around the track for the opening ceremony. So, yeah, I've been a part of that for the last 4 or 5 years. It's a lot of fun.
You were saying, I think in a text message, that you got an event coming up with next weekend, this week?
Yeah, actually,
what is that?
So, SVRA, Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, they host events all over the country. Indianapolis, Sebring, here at Circle Americas, just all over the country. A few years back, in 2020, I had to cancel Corvette Invasion because of COVID. But their event was happening later in the year, and they called me up. They said, well, we know you had to cancel the Corvette Invasion. How about bringing out some of those Corvettes to our event in November? So we did that. We brought like 320 something Corvettes for their event. So they have a racing event that's happening all weekend. Then they have their Haggerty Show and Shine, which is their normal car show that they do every year. And now, because of the success of the Corvette Corral, I manage that for them every year. And then I've also been given the opportunity to not only do that Corvette Corral at that track, but look around at their calendar and any other track in the country that I might be interested in. I can go, like Sebring is one of them. I'll be traveling to Sebring, Florida in February and managing their Corvette Corral there.
That's cool.
So probably 2 or 3 times a year I'll be working with them. So
yeah. Well, and that helps you with your show.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's all about cross promoting,
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got for this particular weekend, I've got probably around 150 Corvettes signed up, and they're coming from mostly over here in the state of Texas, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Waco, Houston, different areas.
Right.
When I do Corvette Invasion, they're coming in from all over, but for this particular event, they're mostly coming in here,
I got you.
around the state. But it's a fun weekend. You get to enjoy a lot of the old vintage racing cars and get to watch those, and like I said, hang around a bunch of car enthusiasts. So can't get better than that.
We'll show up in the Love Machine and we'll have a plate that says no vet.
There you go. The Love Machine.
So we're actually going to put a smoke machine inside the thing. It's going to plumb through the headliner, so it works on the remote, so we can jump out of the thing, crack the windows about getting high, and the car will actually smoke. And I don't know if we can get in it after we smoke it up. I mean, the thing really kicks out some smoke.
Wow.
We'll probably do a video, just to test it out, see what happens in the garage, just for laughs.
God, in the garage.
Yeah. Yeah, and with Eric here, it's probably going to be some real smoke. I have to point him over to the fur. Tell him to smoke up the fur.
There you go.
Yeah, so.
God.
The high school event that you were talking about.
Yes.
Is that the same one you're saying at the
Ron?
the Garage Oil wanted to sponsor?
Yeah. I do that one every March, the first Saturday in March, called Rouse Rock and Rides. We'll probably usually get between 250 to 300 cars come out. That's get the Wienermobile comes out again, and then he has a little guest too. We bring the iconic Nutmobile, so we'll have a Nutmobile and a Wienermobile. So we got
the planners Nutmobile.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that in forever.
Yes,
that goes
I didn't know that was still running around.
And then I got a buddy named Jay. He's a fabricator. He took an old Ford Ranger pickup truck and converted it into a radial flyer wagon that he can legally drive down the road. It's just some of the stuff that comes out here. It's crazy. So
the graduation that somehow, how's the funds tied into graduation? What do? You benefit the school?
Yeah, so what they do, all the proceeds from the car show helps fund their end of year project graduation party. So all the seniors, they'll either go to do some sort of lock-in, whether it's there at the school or it's at a local business or something, and they bring all the seniors out. They have tons of door prizes and giveaways and all kinds of things for the seniors to do safely on graduation night, instead of going to a party and getting drunk or high or something like that. It just keeps them safe and keeps them off the street. And so they a lot of high schools do this all over the country. It's very but it needs a lot of funding too, because they're giving out some really nice things to the seniors, and food and everything that goes involved in it. It gets pretty pricey. So that event helps fund that.
Have you seen a change in interest of young guys, high school guys, in auto cars over even the last 11 years?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that we as car enthusiasts need to try to embrace the younger generation. And getting them involved in the stuff, because they aren't interested like we were at our at that age.
Yeah.
But you know, it's all going electric, and now I think as we get into that electric area, I think I'm hoping you'll see a lot of these muscle cars and stuff today that you just hate for that to go away. So got to figure out a way to get this younger generation excited about the car culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched I was thinking of that earlier. I was just watching a video from SEMA. One of our former guests was at SEMA, and they were doing the drifting with the Mustangs out front. I don't know if you've ever been to SEMA, but it's all noise and smoke and crazy. And they're running side by side throughout this, the whole thing, doing all kinds of. And I just sat there and thought to myself, I mean, you could feel it. Even in the video, you could feel it. When you're there, you could feel it. Like it's got that energy. If that were all electric and there was no sound, it seems like we're going backwards. I mean, that takes the energy out of it, because even with the screaming tires, the squealing tires, and the smoke, it's still not the same.
Yeah.
And it's sort of weird to think that someday, somehow, there's a possibility that may go away and everything is electric and computerized and there won't even be a driver.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually sad. I mean,
yeah, it really is. It is.
I mean, we were kids. That was part of your personality. And I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day. We were talking about the Love Machine. He goes, "Are you going to paint it?" I said, "No." I said, "The car runs in primer." It was back. I mean, when we were kids in the 70s and 80s, when you primered your car, you were still cool. You were like, I can't afford to take it to Shibe or somebody else to get the thing done. Remember, for $69.95, that was a lot of money when we were young. Right. So you ran with, rattle can primer on your car, and you still were cool. You were known as that guy with the Mustang. You were known as that guy with the GTO primered up. Yep. If you had Krager's or Hurst shifter and some kind of exhaust with air shocks, you were the shit. Nowadays, that's not it.
Right.
I mean, there's just like transportation. Just get me Uber. Just get me here to there. It's not, they're more impressed with which version of the cell phone you have. You got 13, you got 20, what do you have? It's sort of crazy, but it's a different world.
It's a different world. Kids, once they turn 16, they don't care about getting their driver's license. It's sad, because I know we counted the days. Get our driver's license.
Wait.
Yeah.
If you had the keys and some gas, you were gone. And once you were gone, good luck finding a guy. There was no, hey, let me text to see where Shawn is now. It's like everybody hung out here or did this over there.
Yeah.
In Philly, you'd go to Front Street, hang out where they were racing. I mean, it was just it was part of the sort of strange.
Probably thank God there was no social media back in the days too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You pretty much tell on yourself, when you do that. But it is pretty nuts. But I did see that you got 23, the calendar for 23 already spelled out for a couple of events.
Man, there's a lot of things going on. I can't even keep up with them all. I have to write it down so I can glance at it here and there. Like, what do I have going on? But it's quite a bit. I'm I'm enjoying it though. I'm getting more opportunities than I've ever had. Something that did kind of, I think, with COVID, the good thing that came out of that is you did have more people. What I saw, you had more people going to car shows.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't, you could still come out, you could social distance. It was safer than going into, a grocery store. But the numbers that I was seeing during the COVID we were setting all kinds of records. It was crazy.
Yeah. That's good though. That's good for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, because they canceled a bunch of shows around here.
We were giving people an escape. They could they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that. But you sit in your household, you start to go crazy. So hey, if you got organized car, and that's what they are. They're organized car meets. I don't just, hey, let's meet over here in this parking lot. Those aren't gonna do it, but they're all organized, and I think the people, they enjoy it. So
and I think in correlation, I think when COVID hit, guys that probably went to that show, because soon as COVID was starting to end or people could get out, like you're talking about, I think people said to themselves, because everybody thought once you got that, at a point, once you got COVID, you were going to die. There was a chance you were going to die. If you look back, they convinced everybody that you're dead.
Yeah,
everybody's kicking off. It was on TV every day. There's 100,000. There's 5,000 a day. So everybody's like, oh my God, please hold on. So once it started to clear up and people were like, I made it.
Mhm.
They then said to themselves, I want that car now. I'm not going to wait because I could be dead in 2 years. Something else could come down the road. So the prices of cars since COVID have damn near doubled in some cases.
Oh yeah.
And higher.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know, people want their
Crazy.
dream. They want the house. They want this. So they started spending, and inflation started to pop up because it was almost like a live auction. I'll give you this for that. Higher. Because I could be dead. What am I saving it for? Which now we're paying the price. You know, things are just out of control.
They are. Yeah, they're out of control.
Yeah. So pretty crazy.
Well, the other good thing about the what I guess with COVID is we did a lot of these drive-by parades for people, from veterans to kids were battling cancer. To we did one for a good friend of mine who just turned 90 years old just a couple weeks ago. But that I think really brought the car community together too, because we love driving our cars, and so we did a lot of those during the time of the shutdown. You know, we did a lot of drive-bys and waves, and really, in fact, here in my neighborhood during Easter, when everyone was told to stay home, couldn't even go to church. We had 35, 40 Corvettes that drove around with the Easter bunny in the back, and you just honked and waved and cheered up the neighbors. So
that was
pretty
something
cool.
we lived through, that to be able to see and tell people down the road what it was like, because I don't think anybody's going to believe it, because it'll be watered down or changed in 10 years. You know, it's be a different version of it.
Tell your grandkids there was no toilet paper. They're going to, whatever, sure.
Yeah. Who knows what else is around the corner too, because I hear all kinds of crazy stuff. But I can tell you that you ever consider taking your model and franchising it out to other states and other areas?
You know, it's been mentioned several times. I think it's just getting, something in place and making it happen. I know I've got a Facebook group here in Austin, Sweet Rods of Central Texas, very popular, over 11,000 members. But I've had other people reach out to me wanting one, and maybe they moved off and they're like in Arizona now, or they're in Tennessee, or they're whatever. Create an event just to kind of keep the car community and connected and kind of just know what's going on out there. I mean, that's why I did it. Yeah. Because I just bought the Corvette and I wanted to meet other like-minded people, but I didn't know where these car meets were. I didn't know where, hey, who do I take my car to have it seen about this or that? So, creating that Facebook group, I started getting all these resources, and it just, lets people know what's out there. And now it gives me a good platform to promote my events. So.
Because here in Pennsylvania, I signed up, the groups on Facebook to tell you what car shows are coming up. And I can tell you that there's more posts after the fact.
Right.
And it's like, maybe you should have told me earlier yesterday and not look what was here because I missed it, because there's always that delay. But I'm like, it's totally unorganized, and it's not something where you go, okay, I can get out this weekend. Weather's going to be nice. What's happening?
Right.
But it's as technical as the internet is, or social media, it doesn't fill that void automatically.
Yeah. One of the things I try to do every week, and a lot of the members know this, is every Thursday I'll go on there and ask them what their car related plans are, because I don't even know what's all out there until people start commenting and posting about this event and that event. Yeah. So the people that are in that group, a lot of times I've heard several people tell me, I don't even use Facebook, but I'll go on there on Thursdays when you make that post, because I for myself want to see what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's all they use it for. They're not on there for anything else except that. So it definitely, it's a good thing. So.
Yeah. That's good for you too, because I mean, it's going to bring more people to the show. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I never thought of it like that, but you're right. It's pretty good. It's damn good, actually. Yeah.
So, Shawn, how important are your sponsors to your events? What do they contribute? How's that work out?
They're very important. I mean, not just money, which helps me, cover my cost on a lot of things, but just the support, the friendship. Sometimes I'll have I have a good friend, Rebecca Privet with U.S. Health Advisors. She's a big sponsor of mine at several events, and she'll bring out her team, and they'll be volunteers too. So they're not just there giving me money; they're bringing volunteers to kind of help make the event happen and successful.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's important. It's all about relationship building. Getting out there and building these great relationships with people.
Right.
And I'll just tell them, hey, I've got this event. You're interested? Let me know. I don't ever try to push it on somebody. I just give them what their options are. Some people say, hey, I like this, and others like, I can't do it this month, but I want to do this, just whatever. So, yeah, and the sponsors are definitely important. Sponsors, vendors, and the participants. They're all important.
You got any crazy stories you can remember from any of the shows that were like, well, didn't see that coming? Anything like that?
Well,
I think you had a lot of events. I don't mean to name names.
Yeah, I had this one. I had the one little mishap last year at one of my events. A lot of my friends that are watching this is probably going, I know what he's about to say. A gentleman was driving an Audi R8. It was a cold morning. Tires were cold. Decides he wants to punch it and show off. And
oh God,
yes. So not only does he do that, but loses control, hits a Lincoln SUV head on coming in the parking lot. The gentleman that was driving the Lincoln SUV decided this ain't cool. He gets out and punches the dude.
Okay.
I'm like, oh gosh. So the cops, fire department, ambulance, you name it, is all showing up. I was like, man, why does this have to be happening?
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of videos out there. things to not do at a car meet. So not cool.
A lot of guys do that when they're rolling out, when it's over, and they're like, "Let me show you," because they're all hyped up.
But you got these people there. Everyone's got their camera phones out. They're enticing. They're like, "Go, burn it."
Yeah.
Let's not do that. I mean, if you're going to do that, get off the property first. Go down the road.
Yeah.
But I've got law enforcement at pretty much all my events, and for the most part, I mean, we very seldom have any little mishaps like that. But that's the one that's kind of stuck in my brain because, it shouldn't have happened, but it did. And that's what happens when people try to show off. They do stupid stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You don't need that headache.
No.
God.
I sat with go ahead. I
John.
sat with George Barris for a little bit one time. We were talking. I asked him almost the same question. Said, "You ever have anybody ask you to design and build something that's a little nutty, like something weird off the beaten path?" He goes, "Oh yeah." I said, well, "Tell me one of them." He says there was a lady that owned a bunch of florists in Arizona. She would have parades. She wanted to sit up way high and in the center, open front, guy driver in the front. He says like a throne. Like she wanted to be the queen. And I'm like, I'm buying into the whole thing. George was just a good storyteller. I said, and he goes, he didn't know what he was building, this thing that she's telling him, I want to be up higher. I want to be at this level. That she had a young boyfriend driver. And this lady would be up on this throne. And the driver would turn around and see things he shouldn't see. George says to me, and I never heard the term since, he goes, her bush cookies were hanging out. I said, I'm like, what's that? A term from like 1955? I've never heard of that. But Shawn, he had me laughing so hard because it was like out of nowhere, the story of this lady. And I was like, you ever see her again? No. He goes, no. But George Barris told stories. I mean, he was a great. Once you got him rolling and got on topic, I sat with him until it was dark. It was actually pretty cool. I mean, the sun's going down, day's over, and we're still talking. So, but yeah, he was a classic, real classic. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
Jeez. So I don't, John does an outline. I don't look at it very often, but this time I did. And it says here that the National Corvette Museum. So You're going to caravan from Texas to the Corvette Museum?
Well, yeah. So in 2019, actually they do this every 5 years. So in 2019, yeah, in 2019 was the 25th anniversary of the Corvette Museum, and everyone caravans back to Bowling Green because that's where they're manufactured.
Right, that's where it's at. Yeah,
it's the home place, right? So in 2019, I was asked to be the caravan captain for Central Texas. So since Texas is so large, we had a captain for North Texas and South Texas. So I was asked to be the caravan captain for Central Texas. So my job was to herd the cats from pretty much the Austin area to Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now they're going to be doing that again in 2023. Actually 2024, sorry, 2024, because it's every 5 years, like I said. And I haven't committed to that yet. It's a lot of work. You know, people don't realize that when you've got that many cars with you and you're driving down the highway, just your routine gas stop or stopping for dinner or lunch or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of work, a lot of planning. Yeah. So, I will probably do it, but I haven't committed yet. So
that's cool, though. I did not know that. I didn't know that you guys did that. That's
they did. Neat. Yeah, it is really cool. This next one will be the 30th anniversary. So they'll probably in 2019. I would estimate there was probably between 8,000 to 10,000 Corvettes in Bowling Green and the surrounding areas that week.
Wow,
it's pretty incredible.
Shit, it's kind of a big thing.
Yes, I think it's the largest. What do they refer to it as? The world's largest moving automotive event or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Bigger than the Hot Rod Power Tour.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. If you got that many cars coming in, I believe that.
What's so cool is, as you're leading a caravan, you may have 50, 100 cars with you, but you're going down the highway. And then you stop by or you drive by a might be a roadside park or something, and all of a sudden you got another caravan rolling in right behind you, and then you got a caravan in front of you, and before you know it, you're on that highway, and that's all you see for miles is in front of you and behind you. There's nothing but Corvettes. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. That is cool. That's cool. I've never been in a Corvette museum. I've driven by it, but I've never been to it.
Oh yeah, you got to stop by. That's.
I heard it's nice in there. I heard it's cool.
It really is nice. They've done a good job. They did a lot of renovation there a few years back, and
a little sinkhole.
Yeah, and then just a small one, and then they had actually they're doing some renovation to their track even, out there. So I haven't been back in. Gosh, I don't think I've been back since 2019. So I'm looking forward to going back here, sooner than later.
Wow. Hey, you might know this. Is there any truth to? I heard that GM wasn't going to do the Corvette. They weren't going to build it in 23. Is there any truth to that?
I personally have not heard that.
I was talking to somebody and one of my friends, and they said that, and he's a good source for information, but I haven't heard anything about it since. You know what I mean?
There's been a huge part shortage, and that's one of the reasons it's delayed the Z06. And all the other things, but I have not heard from any of my resources anyway saying that they weren't going to manufacture it in 2023.
Yeah, so. I heard that's what he said it was because of parts.
Yeah.
Well, I heard they're going electric, but are they dropping the gas?
Well, that's something I think will. Now I don't know for sure. I'm only speculating that that's probably still 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road before they do that. There's also been speculation that they're going to come out with an SUV too. So I don't know. We'll see. I guess it would make sense if you think about it. Porsche's done it, Ferrari's done it, Lamborghini's done it. They all have SUVs.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. I guess if they do, I guess my wife will be driving a Corvette.
I think the last manufacturer that offers gasoline engines will be the Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the others will go back to it.
Yeah.
I think this is a fad. If you could go 1,000 miles with one charge, which maybe someday they'll be able to pull that off somehow, some way. Yeah, okay. But if you need to take a road trip and see the country in an RV or something where you want to stop every couple, I think somebody just did a test on the Ford Lightning truck.
Right.
They only went 150 miles. They had to pull over and charge up again. And the guy said in his gas version, he did 600, cruising down the highway, 600 miles total in one tank of gas. You fill up your tank in 6 minutes, you're off and running.
Yeah.
So how long does it take to charge up? Oh, he also said it was, I think, $80, the rapid charge thing to get it back on the road. So it wasn't like it was saving them money and
saving them money. Yeah.
And you figure $80 for 150 miles, that doesn't work out too good.
The industry, they're all pushing the, electric, but, we just don't have the infrastructure set up for that. So,
that's the thing.
Once we have, this nation's got the infrastructure set up for it, it might be different, but right now we're not. So, would I like to have an electric car someday? Maybe, but the infrastructure's got to be there. I like how quick they are. I've driven. If you guys have ever driven a Tesla, those things are super crazy.
They scoot, man.
But would I buy one and take it across? Across country? No, don't think so.
Yeah. If you're going 200 or 300 miles, you have to have something that tells you better turn around and get charged because you can't make it home without a charge. And that's not that far. People drive today. It isn't, like 1955 where you worked, 10 miles from your house, 8 miles from your house. People drive now when they get in a car, 25, 30, 50 miles a day on average, one way. I don't see how it's going to work. And you're right. The infrastructure for the electric, Texas had a power outage when they had an ice storm for a fast minute about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was pretty crazy. So how do you justify everybody plugging your car in at night? Say go. They're doing it backwards. Now, if there was incentives tax-wise that said, here's the break, do, and try to push that, I could understand it. But when you're force feeding this down people's throat as if, you better take this or else, that's not going to work no matter where you are.
Right.
It's just not. You need options. This is America. Let the market dictate what the future is, not government.
Yeah.
We were talking 2 weeks ago, and I made the comment, heard a lot of people back about it. When we were kids, they told you, don't eat the tuna, don't eat too much tuna. There's mercury in the tuna. Because the power plant's set up right on the water. And the gas and fumes and everything that come out of the smokestacks poison the water, poison the fish, poison the people. But nobody today is talking about any of that. They act like, oh, it's green, it's fine, it's this. Yeah, if you have the Hoover Dam and you're collecting it off the water supply, and it's turning turnstiles, or that's not everywhere. It's pretty crazy.
It is nuts.
We're in very crazy times. Very crazy times. Countries divided. It's sad. It really is.
It is, and you never would have thought years ago that this is the way we were going. And I think it's also strange too that when we were kids, you had Sanford and Son, Jeffersons, you had Archie Bunker, things. People would laugh at each other. Nobody got their feelings hurt. People would just let it rip. And today it seems like everybody gets their feelings up, like you need to agree with me or else. It's like, listen, there's different opinions here. There's different cultures. There's different backgrounds. Let it go.
Right.
I saw a comedian the other day. I don't want to go long on that part, but I saw a comedian and it hit home. He said when he was a kid, if he went home and told his parents that his teacher didn't like him, they'd say, tough it out. Just get back in there and do your thing. Do your homework, learn. Nowadays, if a kid comes home, says the teacher doesn't like me, that parent says, we're going to get that teacher fired. That's not right. My kid is perfect. There's nothing wrong with my kid. Fire that teacher because my kid doesn't agree. And they will fire that, push that person, move them, and cause that to happen. The kid just goes, I'm perfect. I'm right. So it's a different development. It's a whole different aspect of everything. And it's strange that it went this way instead of the other way,
right?
Of being able to say what you want and people not get insulted.
Yeah.
You would think it would be the reverse because we were kids. If a woman showed her ankle, woo, and then Playboy comes along, it just kept going and going. Like, here's the limits. Here's now. Hold on, go back the other way. It's you know what I'm saying, Lou? It's pretty crazy. But It's nuts.
It is. It's all crazy. So you know what? Ken must want to go home early because the screen's up already.
It's a World Series. Sean and I were talking.
That's right.
He's a Houston guy. I'm out of Philly. I'm wondering what the score is.
Dude, I don't follow baseball.
But I'm saying people want to see. That's why he's slow with the comments. Ken's probably watching the TV while he's talking.
Okay, now it makes sense. I saw the references, but I'm like,
he's probably beer number 5 right now.
So you guys are going to have to tell me when you're coming to Austin. We'll go to.
See, I make fun of him. He tries to get even with me. Sean, we will make a run down to Austin. I was there a few years ago. Lou and I were supposed to make a run down about a year and a half ago.
We need to go down there and see Ray.
Ray's in the hospital today.
Oh my God.
He had water in his lungs, could barely breathe, barely talk, 77 years old, went to the ER. He called me twice today. He's actually doing better. But we were supposed to go down and see Goldberg, a couple other people. Shorty's got his own show coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I saw that.
We're going to zip by, the guys at the Iron Resurrection, because we had them on the show, see what's happening. Just make our rounds. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, we need to.
You know anybody? Sean, you know anybody that knows Jesse James?
I do. I've got a few people that have some connections there. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to have him on the show because we're going to start the book guest for 23. We're going to take a little break after Ray Everham, which is December 7th. That's the season finale for us. Then we take a break. We're actually going long, but we're probably going to start up in the end of February.
Okay.
And right now there's probably 4 or 5 people that are waiting for dates.
Yeah.
The CEO of Jegs wants to come on, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because everybody I think uses at one point Summit or Jegs. I'd like to, cracking him here. He's a real smart young guy. I think he looks about 40 years old, 35 years old. So, yeah, but Ray Everham, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you confirm him, Lou?
Yes.
You locked him down?
I was going to tell you, we're locked in for the 7th.
Cool.
We're locked in. Yep.
The owner of PSI also wants to come on.
Yeah, let's bring him on. That's Chris. That's Chris, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I know. Tori knows him. Told me that he wants to come on.
We'll get him on. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Next week, we have Chris McClintock from Buck's Customs.
Yep.
Does interiors. Real nice leather.
Yep.
I'm guessing, I haven't followed up with him, but I'll bet you he has 1 or 2 cars out at SEMA.
I'm sure of it.
He does real stuff. Nice. He did the leather seats on my Lincoln. And I'll tell you, I thought it looked fantastic. Chris says, don't tell anybody I did this. He's way up here. He's in the pool, I'm in the pond. You know what I mean? So, and I'm like, what's the matter? And he's like, oh, no. He wants to do the entire interior or nothing at all, but his stuff is really nice. Yeah, and I know he's nervous next week coming on because he's not a showman. He's a guy that's in his garage doing his thing, Right. And I always often wondered, how does a guy get into leather and sewing machines? Because that's not really a guy's thing. That's when we were young, you never messed with a sewing machine. There was something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking 30 years ago. He's probably 40 years old.
I sew.
Yeah, well, that explains a lot. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
All right, Heiny boy.
Fred would go like this. Fred Sanford would go. Archie, I think, would do a little of this. Yeah. Ken's giving me a jab for you. Yeah.
There you go.
That's the cover of Heiny Boy magazine right there.
All right, well, look, let's let Ken go watch his game so we got this covered. Cool. Sean, thanks for coming on. Hey. Tell everybody where they can, all your social media handles, all that. Tell everybody.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate this opportunity. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks.
What are your social media handles? Tell everybody so they know where you're at.
Just search Sweet Rides in Central Texas. They can look me up there. Also, Corvette Invasion. My company is actually SRE Promotions, which is short for Sweet Ride Events. My buddy Robert teases me and says it's really for Shawn's really easy, but it's. You know,
I like that. I like that.
Hey,
But,
keep
yeah,
it fair, will you?
FRE Promotions, and I give big shout out to my business partner Elaine Prout. She wasn't able to come on tonight, but she sends her love too. And this is, like I said, this has been a lot of fun. So hope maybe you guys will have me back sometime.
Oh,
We
yeah.
will, and we'll be down because we have to come through Texas. There's a lot of talent in Texas. We got a lot of business with the streaming service we're putting together, and make our rounds and talk to guys and do our thing.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
But yeah,
Maybe you come out and we'll put you in that big old wiener mobile.
there you go. That's right up. That's right up Lou's alley. He'll jump on top of that thing. Master of ceremonies on top of that.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Shawn. Appreciate it.
Sean. We'll see you
take care.
again, all
Thank
right.
you. Talk to you in a little bit.
So, John.
Yeah.
I'll see you Friday.
Friday, you're coming up. What time you rolling out? I
don't know. As soon as I'll tell you, I'll call you when I get on the road.
You still got your doctor's appointment tomorrow?
Yep.
This is my
I'll
cheat
make it
day.
happen. Don't worry. As soon as I get, I'm rolling out. We'll get this done. All right.
Yeah. Let's
Text
see if
me
we
your
can.
Address.
Oh, I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know you
text me
got it, but I'll bring up the.
Yeah, I'm sure I have it somewhere, but text it to me anyway, just so I got it.
Eric should be here tomorrow afternoon.
That'll work. We'll make this happen. All right. Well, look, man, we got to go because I got to take a leak.
All right.
All right, everybody. That was the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week, we got Bucks Custom, December 7th, Ray Effingham, and we'll squeeze everybody else in along the way. There you go.
Sounds good. Later.
All right. Later.
See ya.